Hello and welcome back to the world of Horizon. In today's video we're going for the Platinum Trophy for the sequel to Zero Dawn, Horizon Forbidden West. Released 5 years after the first game in 2022, the story picks up 6 months after the events of Zero Dawn. After defeating Hades, Aloy has been travelling in search of a Gaia backup, hoping to stop the growing plague that's wiping out the world's flora and fauna, the Blight. Before we jump in, if you're enjoying the content or you're new around here, make sure to subscribe and drop a like. It genuinely helps more than you'd think. Soon after the opening, we're tracked down by our stalker Val, who's apparently been following us since Meridian. He joins the mission, so we hand him his own focus, which is basically like giving advanced technology to your pet dog and hoping it goes well. Early on, we're introduced to one of the new mechanics added to the game, adaptive triggers.
Oh, it's really hard.
That's what she said!
Deep inside a ruined Far Zenith facility, we craft the Pullcaster, Forbidden West's grappling hook equivalent. Think Batman's grappling gun, except it does this. Val is still adjusting to his focus, and you can already tell it's blowing his little flat earther brain. The reason we're here is simple. Aloy has tracked down a stolen copy of Gaia. Far Zenith supposedly took one when they fled Earth to colonise a new planet in the Sirius star system. The next section leans heavily into stealth. Given my track record in the previous game, that's worrying. Miraculously though, we earned the Stealth Kill 10 Machines trophy very early on without embarrassing ourselves. The Gaia copy is being held in the data centre, guarded by several very angry machines. The logical solution? Drop a spaceship on them. The debris wipes out 2 of the 3 snake machines, but gravity doesn't like sticking to a plan, and unsurprisingly, it goes horribly wrong, which leaves us in a 1v1. This is a Slitherfang, one of the new machines added to the game, and it's not here for conversation. After unloading a frankly irresponsible number of arrows and stealing one of its own weapons, we finally bring it down. Unfortunately, the Far Zenith's stolen copy of Gaia is nothing but a fake. Not ideal. With no other leads, Val suggests contacting Murad in Meridian to track down Silence for answers. Back in Meridian, the welcome is warm, but Murad has news. The Hades relic has started transmitting again. At the summit, the rumours are confirmed. Silence appears via hologram, casually admitting that he had been tricking us throughout the previous game, in hopes that we would use the Master Override, which we did. Since then, he has been studying Hades somewhere in the Forbidden West, and leaves us only a set of coordinates to follow. The West is Tanakh territory, a group of people who are not exactly famous for hospitality. Thankfully, Meridian is arranging a peace treaty, but gaining passage means attending an embassy at Barren Light. After several days riding, we reach the Dawn and unlock our second trophy. Even after 5 years, the naming department obviously still can't be bothered. The route to Barren Light is blocked by brittlebacks. Clearing them out introduces us properly to acid damage, which absolutely slaps. With the valley secure, the village foreman grants passage, unlocking the secured passage to the embassy trophy. Before proceeding, there's a small cleanup to take care of. We firstly complete a couple of side quests that are needed for a later trophy, and then win against 2 machine strike challenges, which is basically Warhammer if Gaia was the CEO of Games Workshop, which also nets us a trophy. At Barren Light, the peace treaty between the Karja and the Tanakh goes well. Until it doesn't. Regala and her rebels turn negotiations into chaos. One of her generals challenges us with an arsenal that looks suspiciously endgame, but once again, poison arrows carry us to victory. Once the dust settles, we loot the general, grab the shield wing, and earn the embassy trophy. Now that we have passed through the gate, we can continue the main story. After reaching the coordinates that Silence left us, he reveals another message. In the message, he defends stealing Hades, but if we want real answers, we'll have to find him. Conveniently, Hades' containment orb leaves a trail the size of a motorway, so it should be easy to track down. While following it, we scan every new machine we see and unlock the performed 3 melee combos trophy. The trail leads into a cave where we confront Hades. After enduring its attempted gaslighting, we purge it for good, hopefully. Silence appears once again via our focus. Supposedly, there is a Gaia backup behind this gene-locked hatch, accessible only with Elizabeth Sobek's DNA. The door opens, but fire gleam blocks entry. Silence provides a schematic for an explosive solution, and after gathering kindle weed oil and a leap flasher spark coil, we craft the igniter and clear the obstruction. Inside is Gaia, but she's incomplete. To work properly, she requires her subordinate functions. The inbuilt Google Maps informs us that the Minerva function is nearby. Before we can act, the goddamn Guardians of the Galaxy arrive. Plus somebody that looks suspiciously familiar. A one-sided 1v1 inevitably begins. Since we can't actually damage the Zeniths, we must detach parts of the machine above. Eventually, it crashes, giving us just enough time to escape the chaos. Flush through the water pipes Aloy passes out and is rescued once again by Varl, who takes us to an Ataru village to regain our strength. In the village, we speak to a local named Zoe. She explains that accessing Minerva requires approval from the chorus at Plainsong.
Brilliant.
Instead of resting, we override our first toolneck and grab the trophy. Forbidden West Platinum is significantly larger than Zero Dawn's. Because of that, the plan is to finish the majority of the story first, then sweep up the miscellaneous trophies with better gear and levels. Plainsong showcases the devastation of the Blight. Something has to be done, and fast. The chorus initially refuses entry to the sacred cave until the alarm sounds, highlighting that the machines are attacking from the mountain again, conveniently solving the debate. We fight through the robot velociraptors in the long grass of Plainsong, proper the Lost World energy. Eventually we are able to find a way inside of the cauldron, and we learn that Minerva has essentially caught an STD, Hephaestus, which explains why it's been churning out such aggressive machines. Continuing the Jurassic Park theme, we are faced with a Triceratops. This one is not laying around feeling sorry for itself. No, this one comes equipped with a flamethrower and grenade launchers.
Oh, okay.
This is where the skill issue begins. While Varl and Zoe allegedly assist, the Grimhorn repeatedly teabags me.
No way!
After a few attempts, the play of exploiting its weakness to acid and using its 2 grenade launchers against it seemed to work best, although picking them up is a death sentence half the time.
Get it then! Fucking hell! What a bitch.
With persistence and stubbornness, we prevail. Just a side note, notice how Varl and Zoe had a long leg and 2 scrappers to take down, and all 3 were still remaining at the end. But we do finally manage to override the core. Unlike the cores in Zero Dawn, we have to investigate the facility above to find a console to put Gaia into. Obviously, Minerva isn't too happy about that and gets all sassy on us, but Aloy persuades it. Gaia merges with Minerva, materialises, and she explains that we must also recover Ether, Poseidon, and Demeter, plus eventually Hephaestus, or the planet dies in a matter of months. No pressure then. Gaia also reveals that the extinction signal that woke Hades in the last game didn't actually come from Earth, but a planet over 81 trillion kilometres away. The signal, and thus the Guardians of the Galaxy that we met earlier, actually come from the Sirius star system. That's right, the star system that the Far Zenith colony ship was aiming for. Now that our big questions have been answered and Minerva becomes our new base of operations, this unlocks the established base trophy. With a functioning Gaia core and a shiny new headquarters, it's time to play Pokemon with the subordinate functions. First stop, Ether. The function itself is located in a cauldron below the throne room. To recover that function, however, we need to help the chief deal with the Tanakh civil war, because of course the world is literally ending and humanity still has time for tribal politics. Hikaru wants unity, Regala wants revolution, we just want our subordinate function. The chief directs us to Kotalo, who seems very familiar.
Wait a goddamn minute. That's Jubei from Ghost of Yote.
Cannons.
To earn Hikaru's trust, we must travel to the Bulwark and check that they will still be sending their reinforcements. It turns out that the leader is not too keen to offer his army as long as the wall stands. Well then, there's only one thing to do. Blow it up. To do that, we'll have to search for a weapon powerful enough to destroy the Bulwark.
What the fuck is that?
Right now, you're probably thinking, this thing looks much harder to take down than that Triceratops. And you'd be absolutely right.
Okay, let's call it a day. I've had enough.
The next day, we do manage to pick up the trophy for detaching 100 components before quickly getting detached from the Earth ourselves.
Oh, what the fuck?
The Tremor Tusk was actually really tricky. One hit from the purple laser or the missiles is instant death, but elemental damage does a lot of the heavy lifting here. Thanks to its weakness to frost, we use a Ravager turret on it and managed to take it down.
Woo-hoo-hoo!
Then it was just the simple task of destroying a load of people's safety and livelihoods.
We're sorry.
Returning to the memorial grove, we are entered into the Kulrut, a sacred Tanakh trial. After proving that we can take out a load of machines, the ritual is interrupted by Regala. She heads straight for the Sky Clan's war chief, and we are left to once again match up against a Mega Arbol. This snake is a real bastard. I'm not sure if I was a little underleveled, but every hit felt like a one-punch KO. Luckily, we had an ally nearby on a ballista, which definitely helped, and eventually, after a load of arrows and a lucky strike, the snake falls. Regala retreats, Hikaru respects us, and more importantly, we gain access to Ether. Another AI convinced to come quietly, and we return a second function to Gaia and earn the recovered Ether trophy. So 2 more to go. Before grabbing Poseidon, with Varl and Erend, we head off to investigate a distress signal that appears to have been sent by Aletheia, one of the subordinate functions that Gaia couldn't locate. On arrival though, things aren't quite what we expected. A Zenith has already been lured into a trap by the Oseram and taken out using a seriously heavy-duty weapon. Interestingly, that Zenith also seemed to be searching for Aleuther. Inside the facility, the distress signal code gives us access to something far more shocking. Another clone of Elizabeth Sobek, alive just in cryosleep. Before we can even begin to process that, Erend, on guard duty, radios in. A Spectre is inbound. There's barely any time to prepare before it crashes the party.
Poison arrow.
This thing is fast, aggressive, and hits like a truck. All the last minute prep, basically cosmetic, and eventually this happens.
Oh!
With enough poison arrows, we get the job done.
Yeah!
And while Varl carries our mystery clone to safety, we head for the surface, but come to a sad realisation along the way.
It's another one. Fuck's sake.
Thankfully, this second Spectre isn't quite as brutal. With Erend actually contributing this time, we managed to unplug it.
Woo!
More importantly, we recover a fragment of Zenith tech, something that might level the playing field later. Back at base, the clone finally awakes. Her name is Beta, and she spills everything. The Zeniths faked their death and fled to Sirius to build a new civilization. It lasted a few hundred years before a natural disaster wiped it all out. So now they're back. Not to save Earth, but to wipe it clean by using Gaia. We also learned that they've already secured the Aleuther and the Apollo functions.
Shit.
Still, the plan doesn't change. The recovered Beta trophy unlocks, and now we're off to Vegas.
I had a dream I could buy my way to heaven.
Oh, right. Turns out that post-apocalyptic Vegas isn't quite a 5-star attraction anymore. Out in the desert, one building is pouring out water like it forgot to pay its utility bill. Inside are 3 Oseram delvers, and they want help finishing a diving mask. Coincidentally, we believe that Poseidon is beneath the building, so we agree to help and gather the machine parts required and craft our third piece of special gear, the diving mask. With this, we can now survive underwater for much longer, which is going to help us reach Poseidon. Below the surface, it's all stealth, sneaking past underwater machines and draining the facility. Once the water's gone, the playing field evens out against the robotic plesiosaur that jump-scared us earlier.
Fuck me!
The Tide Ripper is tanky, and even on land, it absorbs damage like it's paid to do so. The Scrapper Boys apparently assist. I'm not entirely sure how much, but the health bar does move, so we'll give them some credit.
Yeah.
And then Poseidon is secured, merged with Gaia, and the recovered Poseidon trophy pops. Only one sub-function remains before Hephaestus. As we approach Demeter's coordinates, the Quen greets us, and unlike Quen in The Witcher 3, these guys are not your best friends. Fighting through their forces pushes us to level 20, unlocking that trophy, and during the search for Test Station Ivy, we meet Alva, another Focus user. And after giving her Focus the latest iOS update, she agrees to help us search for the facility. The exploration eventually leads to accidentally releasing some adamantine, wiping out a chunk of the plant life.
Oops.
But that doesn't stop the march through the overgrown ruins.
Hello there.
Then the mini-boss appears, a robotic bat, a Dreadwing. Despite being the mini-boss for this sub-function, this one feels oddly manageable, possibly because it seemed to have a bit of a skill issue with this wall. With the death bat grounded, access to Test Station IV opens up. Inside, we craft our 4th and final special piece of gear, the Vine Cutter. It cuts vines. Revolutionary stuff. That does allow us to enter the previously blocked door and capture Demeter. We upload it to Gaia, and the recovered Demeter trophy unlocks. All subordinate functions are now back with Gaia, which means it's time for Hephaestus. Unfortunately, attempting to capture it will alert the Zeniths. To do that safely, we need Pharaoh's Master Override, which is hidden in Thebes, an underground bunker that Pharaoh built to save himself. To find the override, we need to travel further west than ever before, to the ruins of San Francisco, and meet up with Alva and her tribe. In landfall, the Quen examine us closely. Looking like Elizabeth Sobek has its perks. They tell us where Thebes is. Small issue though, it's guarded by an Apex Thunderjaw. Historically, the best way to deal with giant machines is to weaponize themselves against themselves. We managed to shoot off the disc launcher, and then earn the picked up 5 heavy weapons trophy, and then immediately get deleted.
Oh, what?
Thankfully, there were some nicely placed ruins nearby. I really wanted to grab the disc launcher again for some major damage. Unfortunately, it was being defended like Prime Maldini. After detaching enough components, we can once again put the ancient ruins to good use and finish the job.
Yes!
With the Thunderjaw defeated, Thebes awaits. At the entrance, we meet the CEO, no, not CEO, CO, a man who idolises Ted Farrow to an uncomfortable degree. We venture deeper into the facility and have a slight throwback to the first game when we have to fight a couple of corruptors. While CO spirals into delusion, we secure the Master Override and gain a mega clearance, the key to bringing Hephaestus into Gaia. CO orders the facility burned, which triggers the self-destruct, and not long after, his story ends in the worst possible way. Back on the surface, a deal is struck with the Quen. Alva is granted a degree apprenticeship in focus training, and the discovered Pharaoh's Fate trophy unlocks. Now that everything is in place, we can head for Gemini. Gemini is the facility where it could be possible to capture Hephaestus. Gaia connects to the cauldron in an attempt to capture Hephaestus. Risky, because the signal will alert the Zeniths. Our allies are spread across the land though and send out a signal of their own to confuse the Zeniths. At first the plan works, then Hephaestus floods the facility with machines, which goes about as well as you would expect.
Oh, what the fuck? I got raped.
During one of the toughest combat sections in the game thus far, the all-transport machines killed Trophy Pops, after the behemoth goes down, and shortly following, after taking down a Red-Eye Watcher, the all-recon machines killed Trophy follows. The final test? A robotic Spinosaurus. Weak to water and ice, I find out that I have none. Still, enough arrows solve most problems. The machine falls, Hephaestus merges successfully, and then the Zeniths crash through the roof. They remind us that they are immortal techno-gods with shields, superior weapons, and absolutely zero chill. They kill Val, take Beta and Gaia, and Aloy is at her lowest point in the game. We awake in a Zenith hideout and meet Tilda over tea. She's not the biggest fan of her colleagues either, and offers to help us get Gaia back. Meanwhile, Silence and Regala are building an army. To stop Regala, we need to find something big and bad enough to take out Regala's army and recruit Silence to our cause. The spear upgrade that we got from Gemini allows us to override a Sunwing, which means that flight is now unlocked, and traversing the map becomes 10 times easier. Our first order of business is to find a Horus energy cell, the component needed to show Regala that we mean business. This can be found atop of an old ancient machine, although dismounting proves harder than expected.
How do I get off?
After figuring out that you can't dismount until you've completed the mission, we arrive at the Memorial Grove. Regala's army is already on the attack. The energy cell drops like an EMP mic drop. Then it was time to fight Regala, and the 1v1 ends as quickly as it started. She has a mountain of health and armour and hits like Anthony Joshua. Stage 2 becomes an archery duel. Damage feels underwhelming, but poison arrows once again carry. The final stage is back to hand-to-hand combat, which goes well.
Oh, fuck off.
Poison melts her armour once again and headshots close it out.
Woo!
And Katalo wastes no time in finishing the deed.
Go on, Jubei.
Silence appears on our focus and he's less than pleased with what we've done, but we arrange a meet up with him and the Flew on the Wings of the 10 trophy unlocks. Back in 2023, I actually finished this game, and from memory, those final sequences are no joke. After the Regala fight, it was pretty clear that I needed better gear and a little bit more health, so before jumping into the final mission, this felt like the perfect time to clean up the remaining trophies. Flying as high as possible and gliding for 60 seconds unlocks the completed A Long Glide trophy. Nice and simple. After that, it was time to do some side questing. Jubei gets help replacing his lost arm. We return to the Daunt to wrap up the lingering Bristleback mystery, assist Zoe in healing her land gods, and back Alva in her search for old world knowledge. A lot of these next trophies mirror those from Zero Dawn, so if you haven't seen that video, feel free to check it out. From there, we override our first cauldron, reach level 30, reveal the map by overriding the remaining toolnecks, and clear out a rebel camp. While sweeping through the remaining rebel camps, we also unlock the trophy for fully upgrading 3 weapons, and another for equipping a weapon with 2 coils. Then we chase Ursa down and rid the lands of the rebels to earn the defeated Ursa trophy. With that wrapped up, it was time to head back to the hunting grounds. Carried over from the previous game, there are 12 challenges to complete for 2 trophies. Thankfully, it's slightly more forgiving than Zero Dawn. You only need the lowest mark in each challenge for the first trophy, which is good because they're absolutely brutal. Eventually, the Earn 3 Stripes trophy pops for earning at least a quarter stripe in all trials at a single ground. Across the remaining trials, a steady stream of trophies unlock. We grab used all elemental states, fully upgraded a Valor Surge, upgraded every pouch type, used dye flowers, as well as a further trophy for upgrading 3 outfits. Rain Trace, however, was easily the toughest hunting ground. To secure the final trophy, you have to detach a Tremetus cannon and eliminate 3 Claw Striders while only using that weapon. The issue? The cannon doesn't have enough ammo to finish all 3 outright, so the strategy becomes weakening each Claw Strider first, then finishing them off with the cannon. Meanwhile, the Tremetusk, whose weapon you've just stolen, is still charging around and hitting like a freight train. After plenty of trial and error, all 3 Claw Striders finally drop. A quick return to the groundskeeper earns the obtained 3 stripes at all hunting grounds trophy. Next on the list, the remaining cauldrons. There are only 4 in Forbidden West, but they're far longer and more demanding than Zero Dawns. 2 are completed naturally during the story, but the final 2 definitely tested my patience. Clearing the 4th quadrant unlocks the trophy for doing exactly that. This does also mean that we can now override every machine in the game. At the beginning of the game, we overrode a charger, and during the rain trace trials, a claw strider. The last mount required for this trophy is a bristleback, so we track one down, override it, mount up and secure the trophy. Akin to the previous game, there's also a trophy for overriding a certain number of machines. In Forbidden West, that number is 10. Between earlier overrides, including the Sunwing, we're already partway there. To finish it off, we override a Burrower, a Fanghorn, a Scrounger, a Leap Lasher and a Longleg, earning the trophy. At the same time, we clean up the trophies for defeating every type of acquisition machine and every type of combat machine. Then it was time to collect some of the trophies that are earned for completing the new activities across the map. Firstly, we take part and claim victory in all charger races, which earns us the 1-2 Gauntlet Runs trophy. Complete all salvage contracts from a salvager and discover and complete 3 relic ruins. Then we come to the melee pits. To face the Tanak master known as the Enduring, all 4 pit challenges must be completed first. Most are manageable until the Energy Surge Chain challenge. That is where everything fell apart. Reddit confirmed that it wasn't just me. Even tutorial videos struggled to land it first try. The challenge requires chaining Energy Surge, Half Moon Slash and Jump Off into one fluid combo. For some reason, I couldn't even get past the Energy Surge portion. Buried deep in a YouTube comment section, however, the GOAT Meg Tilden 4754 revealed the secret. Wait for Aloy's spear to glint, then wait for the enemy to stand before continuing the combo. Something the game never actually explains. Armed with that knowledge, the challenge is finally completed. The Enduring goes down soon after, which earns us the trophy, and we can move on to the arena. The arena is located at the same place the Cool Rip took place. Here, machines must be defeated within strict time limits. The final challenge pits us against a Slitherfang. Completing that set unlocks the completed an arena challenge set trophy. Collectibles are next. Surprisingly straightforward though. 1 black box, 1 survey drone, 1 relic ruin, which we already done, 1 vista point and 1 signal tower. Probably the easiest collectible trophy in recent memory. With the cleanup complete, it's finally time for the final mission. But before that, if you've made it this far, please consider subscribing and dropping a like. It really does help me a lot. After what felt like years of preparation, the Singularity quest begins. Only a couple of trophies remain, and they can be handled before the mission ends. At this point, Aloy has recruited nearly every ally, minus Varl, along with a few former enemies. In the control room, the Avengers assemble. The objective: assault the Far Zenith base and retrieve Beta and Gaia. At Tilda's meeting point, we pass the point of no return. It turns out that she's hidden a smuggler's tunnel beneath the ocean leading straight to the Zenith base. Beta and Gaia are being held at the top of the spire, but reaching them means pushing through endless waves of spectres. Thankfully, a plasma bolt blaster picked up earlier makes short work of their war machines. Eventually, the Zeniths escalate things. A literal army of spectres flood the battlefield. Luckily, Beta had a plan. Hephaestus is released into the Zenith Printer, which begins mass producing machines. Spinos, T-Rexes, and some of the nastiest machines in the game pour into the fight. While Terminator 3 unfolds in the background, we slip away to the launch tower, where the Zenith Elite make their stand. They claim invincibility. Cylon's latest gadget says otherwise, which melts their shields. Reaching the tower leads to us being face to face again with Eric Visser, a human tank, professional menace, and he quickly learns about the dangerous combination of a bolt blaster and cover. At the summit, Beta is being molested by some sort of machine, but she frees herself and helps us access the Zenith network, which reveals the truth. The Zeniths aren't conquerors, they're refugees. They're fleeing something called Nemesis, a collective of digitised human consciousness, consumed by rage and hunting them across space. Tilda confirms it, and Beta connects the dots. The signal that woke Hades in Zero Dawn was actually Nemesis breaking containment. She also admits her obsession with Elizabeth Sobek, and her intention to force Aloy to leave Earth with her. Obviously, we say no, but she's got other plans. Before either of us can get the first hit in, we scan the machine, which unlocks the All Machine Type scan trophy. The battle against Spectre Prime is relentless. Dodging constantly, acid arrows flying, health dipping dangerously low, saved repeatedly by a clutch regeneration skill. There's no time to think, just reacting. Finally, with both of us hanging on by a thread, the machine collapses.
Come on, go down! Your time is nigh!
Finish, Tilda!
You are finished! Get up!
You cannot!
Yes! Come on, quickly buy the skill.
Maxing out the warrior skill tree earns the final miscellaneous trophy. Now the Zeniths are defeated, Silence briefly considers interplanetary real estate before deciding to stay. Our companions regroup and Aloy, once an outcast, saves the planet again. The final story trophy unlocks and then it happens. All trophies obtained. Horizon Forbidden West Platinum is far bigger, longer and more demanding than Zero Dawn's, but it never feels unfair. It rewards exploration, experimentation and preparation, and only occasionally punishes you. If Zero Dawn was a journey, Forbidden West is the full expedition. And honestly, it was actually fun. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe for more Platinum journeys, and let me know in the comments section what game you'd like to see next.